Hi guys, recently I made this beautiful blackberry ice cream from all completely natural ingredients and it was so delicious. Don't worry if you don't have an ice cream maker either, I'm going to show you how to make it without one. I start by taking a metal loaf tin and stick it in the freezer while I make the ice cream. If you're not using a metal loaf tin, don't worry, this doesn't really matter, it just decreases the freezing time for your custard. I then take 3 egg yolks and add 100 grams of caster sugar to them. Then whisk it up until it's light in colour and really smooth. 2 or 3 minutes should do it. Now just set it aside until later. And take a small saucepan and add 250 grams of blackberries to it. Add another 100 grams of caster sugar, followed by the juice of a lemon. Lemon is a bit like salt in that it really enhances other flavours, so it's fantastic to use in desserts. Just make sure you catch all those lemon seeds though, because if you bite into one of those, they are so vile. Give that a quick mix up and set it aside briefly while you get on with your cream. You need a large saucepan for this, and to that you add 200 milliliters of cream, followed by 400 milliliters of whole milk. Then heat both saucepans on the hob. Heat the blackberries over a high heat so that they stew and stir them regularly while you heat the cream over a medium heat. You don't want this to boil, you just want it to start to steam. Make sure you stir the blackberries to stop them from catching, while you reduce them and evaporate off as much of their water as possible, because that water will make for a really crystally ice cream. Once the cream starts to steam, take it off the heat to add it to your eggs. If you're stepping away from the hob to do this, I just turn the heat down on the blackberries so they won't burn. Now slowly whisk the hot cream into the yolk and sugar mixture. Do this little by little as if you're making an emulsion, because adding the hot cream into the yolks too quickly will scramble them. You can add it quicker towards the end. When that's all incorporated, return it to the saucepan and return that to the heat. Put it on a really low heat though, because those eggs can still scramble, and stir it continuously. You can turn the heat back up to high though for the blackberries, just reduce them down and evaporate as much of their water off as possible. If you find that the cream has formed a foam from whisking, you need to try to disperse it, because you'll need to know when this custard has thickened enough when it will coat the back of a wooden spoon. And you can see here that the foam is coating this spoon, which could mislead you and cause you to think that your custard has thickened enough before it has. When the blackberries are looking really reduced and syrupy, take them off the heat and set them into a sink filled with cold water. This is to cool them down quickly. So after maybe 15 or 20 minutes, when the foam has gone but the custard has still thickened enough to coat the back of a wooden spoon, go ahead and add the blackberry syrup. Stir it up so it's all nice and incorporated and evenly dispersed before you take it off the heat and sit it in the sink of cold water to let it cool down to room temperature. Once it has cooled, take your cold loaf tin from the freezer and pour the blackberry custard into it. Then you're going to transfer it to the freezer, where you're going to let it freeze for at least an hour, or until the custard goes really crystally. Once it is crystally and slushy, pour it into a blender and blitz until smooth. Then pour it back into its container and freeze again until it's icy. Then return it to the blitzer again, blitz it up until smooth, but this time pass it through a sieve when it's going back into its loaf tin. You want to catch all those broken up seeds because they can be so irritating on the throat, and you want a really smooth, delicious ice cream with really nice mouthfeel. Once that's all done, return to the freezer for at least another hour or until you need to serve it up. I serve this up on its own, but it'd be really nice as part of a dessert. Blackberry and apple go really well together, so maybe with some apple pie or something. Thanks a million for watching guys. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button below and subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check me out on social media as well. You'll find all the links to my accounts in the description below, as well as the link to my blog where you'll find a full recipe at www.rookiecook.org.